YouTube, what is up? I'm Hal. I'm joined today by my friend Kyle, and we're coming at you for this sixth exciting episode of the Commerce of Comics to talk to you about an exclusive Green Lantern episode. So, all joking aside, Chris, I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving holiday with your family. How was it?
Socially distanced. It was good. Everyone had a good time.
Awesome.
How about you?
Yeah, can't complain. Weather could have been nicer, but all things considered, not that bad. All right, so now down to business. We're going to talk to you today about Green Lantern, everything Green Lantern, yellow lanterns, black lanterns, white lanterns. Just to start off with, as you might know, all the subscribers out there who have been watching so far, last episode I talked a bit about Jessica Cruz, who's going to be featured in the upcoming HBO Max show Green Lanterns. So she had her first appearance in Justice League 31, which I covered on the last episode. So there you go. Won't spend too much time talking about it because if you want to learn more about it, go watch the other episode. She also then becomes a Green Lantern in Justice League number 50. So again, just to recap, was able to get this off eBay recently in a 9.6 graded. So highly suggest that you go out and grab those books because they're probably only going to go up from here, especially with things being speculated and the show going to launch probably in 2021 or 2022. Would you think that's accurate, Chris?
Absolutely. I mean, it's probably the most hype show they have going now is the Green Lantern show. Everyone's been waiting for something Green Lantern since the last movie. I mean, I kind of liked it. I don't know. I know everyone hates it, including Ryan Reynolds and most of Hollywood, but I mean, it was entertaining. So, I mean, we can grab, I think almost every Green Lantern book out there is undervalued at this point. I mean, I know they've been saying about DC in general for forever, but I think it's really true. Outside of Showcase 22, I think the average collector can pretty much get every main character in the Green Lantern, repertoire, And one book I want to talk about, speaking of Jessica Cruz, that no one really looks for, kind of, is this Justice League America 29 from 1964. So basically, this is the first appearance of Power Ring and the crime syndicate as a whole. So this is Ultraman, Superwoman, Johnny Quick, basically all the evil doppelgangers. And so this book is, I think, kind of criminally undervalued, especially with the popularity of what was it, Forever Evil. They've been in a cartoon movie, which DC always nails. It was pretty good. And I mean, I think this is worth the pickup. You can get these in fairly high grades, considering it's from the 60s, for probably less than $300.
Now, can I ask you, when did you get that book?
I think I grabbed this a few years ago, something like that, just kind of during this like the lull of the from Thanksgiving or October, kind of Halloween, until basically February, when those Christmas bills come in.
Very astute of you, Chris.
Let me see.
All right, what do you got? What do you got next?
Another book we got is the DC Comics Free Comic Book Day, the New 52. This is the first appearance of Simon Baz. It's tough to find this in high grade because obviously Free Comic Book Day issue, a lot of stamps were put on them, things like that. I think I got this probably shortly thereafter Free Comic Book Day, and let me see, what was this from? 2012, and basically paid what it would cost to CGC it. So it's a good grab. I mean, it's the first appearance of Simon Baz. The cover's not doing it any favors, but it's another solid book, and obviously he and Jessica Cruz are definitely hyped for the show.
Yeah. Now I think I've gone to at least 6 stores in Connecticut trying to find a copy of that, and it's scarce. It's nowhere. I'm watching it right now on eBay, and I wish I had picked it up when you did. So kudos to you on that.
There's a couple other issues where they're was it like store specific, like Midtown Comics, a couple of the other big chains, and so they'll have a huge bar with their logo on or whatever, and it's it's basically the same kind of cover, but it's a little more sought after sometimes, depending on the everyone knows Midtown Comics and some of the other stores that got them, but the 9/8s are tough. I like to check the CGC census. I wonder how many are even in there.
Yeah, I don't know. And then just to I guess circle back to something else you said a minute ago, you talking about the Baz and Cruz cover. That's the Seeley run. I think Seeley was the artist who did that, right? That the variants like 40, 41, 42 with both of them on the cover, like
Oh yeah, all
like
those,
floating
yeah.
together, and one of them they're like in a heart or something like that.
Those are hot books now.
Yeah.
The train might have left the station, but there's probably room to grow on almost anything at this point, it seems like.
Yep. All right. Well, let's see. Next on our list, we've got Green Lantern number 43 back from 09. And this was, I believe, done by the very popular Jeff Johns writer. And Chris, to be honest, truth be told, I wasn't reading it back then, but I think, you and I were definitely friends back then, and I think you were really into the whole Blackest Night story arc, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff Johns, I mean, this is one of the characters he brought back. Basically, actually, I got it when we went through Connecticut. You can start reading it. Jeff Johns, he did the Rebirth issues. These can be found in dollar boxes. Basically, it's 6 issues, and you can grab them out of there. It's a great read. It's where it all started. It goes to the Sinestro Corps War, and he basically designed the entire light spectrum other than the Green Lanterns, and it's just taken off from there. Everything's taken on its own life, and I mean it's some of my favorite stuff. I was a Green Lantern fan forever, and it just kind of really injected new life into everything. Some really great characters, the Red Lanterns, the Orange Lantern. Like, it's just good stuff. He resurrected some characters like Black Hand. You have there.
Yeah, so just to close the book on that one, Green Lantern 43, I think it's safe to say that all the books that we're covering in this episode are key issues on Key Collector. At least I know my stack are. I think yours are too. But yeah, Green Lantern 43, prologue to the Blackest Night story arc. Black Hand, like Chris just mentioned, becomes a Black Lantern. Obviously, black being death, with the opposite white lanterns being life, and all the other colors of the spectrum that Chris just mentioned.
A good book is that first Black Hand book. I mean, he was kind of a throwaway character, I would say. If you can find this one, this is another, just great book to get. What is it? Green Lantern 29. This is the first appearance of Black Hand. Again, kind of, none of these covers are really doing these books any favors as far as value, but they're just good to grab now. I mean, I think they're going to do Blackest Night in the show, they've said. And, I mean, this...
Yeah, they'd kind of be stupid not to.
I mean, unless they're saving it for a movie, but, we'll see how it all ties together. I'm not really sure. Like, they had that DC network, and now they're going to HBO Max. It seems like there's some really good stuff they're going to come out with, but we'll see how it ties into the DCEU. But I would definitely snag this book. I have seen this, I mean, high grade copies for definitely less than $50. This I grabbed a while ago just because, like I said, I just like Green Lantern, and I was looking for all these weird keys and things like that.
Now, it's an interesting comment that you make, because I was just talking to someone over the weekend about that, where it's like the DC universe is migrating to HBO Max now, kind of like all those Marvel shows like Jessica Jones and Punisher and Daredevil. I mean, they were all on Netflix, right? And then they kind of, that was like the incubator for all those shows. Then Disney forms its own thing, and so now they're Disney Plus, Marvel. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it seems like HBO Max is now like the home for all the upcoming potentially great DC universe stuff. So that's cool. All right, next on our list, keeping with one more book in that Blackest Night story arc, I've got Green Lantern number 52 from 2010. Again, still with Jeff Johns as the writer. Now, this is the origin of the life entity, the origin of Ion, which is the green entity of willpower, which I guess according to the lore, caused the first creature in the universe to move on its own and use willpower. Also, the first cameo appearance of the origin of entities of the emotional spectrum. So, Green Lantern 52. And I guess just one other thing on both of those books, not very expensive. I actually found them for probably about $2 or $3 a piece. At a local shop about 6 months ago, and I think one is going for around that same price, but the one with Sinestro on the cover, that's just a really cool cover. That one is up around like $8 or $10 in really great condition, and yeah, I think that one's worth grabbing now because, I mean, you're a huge Sinestro fan, Chris. I mean, they can't do a Green Lantern show without Sinestro, right?
I mean, he was the one bright spot from the Ryan Reynolds movie. I mean, the acting and everything, and I think you need the character one way or the other. And it's just, you need the Yellow Lanterns. It's just, it's how it should go. It's how it needs to start. Especially if they're going to do Blackest Night. You can't do Blackest Night without the rest of the spectrum. And it's going to start with green and yellow, you know, will and fear. That's how it's got to go. So, I mean, and the things that they really just did right with this Blackest Night, the run up to it and everything. Like you're pulling all these great covers. I'm pulling all these old books. And all these covers are just they're just not doing the books any favor, like I keep saying. And you know, speaking of Sinestro, I mean, this is another. I think this is borderline criminally undervalued. Green Lantern number 7. This is the first Sinestro, so you can see the cover. It's really, you know, he's not on it. It's really not. They're not the greatest covers in the world for the books. But this is where it started. This is it, you know. And I mean, he's every iteration of the Legion of Doom. You know, you think of Green Lantern, you think of his villain, it's Sinestro. You know what I mean? Like Wonder Woman, you have Cheetah. Superman's got a few, but you know, it's mostly like Lex Luthor, maybe Bizarro Superman, if you kind of, you know, Brainiac. But like he's the guy. You know, he's his villain. And it's just, I mean, this book out there, it's hard to find. I looked for this book for years, and you go to New York Comic Con, and there might have been 2 or 3 in the entire room. I mean, any grade, slab, not slab, just like really almost none of them. And for such a just integral villain to everything that goes on in any Green Lantern story, more or less, and a lot of Justice League stuff, it's really, you can get this for kind of pennies compared to like, you know, like a Green Goblin, things like that. I mean, that might be a stretch, but I mean, he's technically been in a movie, you know, we all know how it went, but it's there, you know, if you can find them, I would snag it now. There's low grade copies. They just don't seem to be around. I think there's one 7.5 went for like $1,800 or something on eBay like a little while ago, but there's, before that, it's pretty dry.
And then I guess just, you know, to give some context on this, tell the kids at home about when did you pick up that 8.0?
This one, I don't remember, a couple of years ago. It's just one of those things that popped up on eBay, and it just kept bidding because I hadn't seen one in forever. So that's it. Just wanted it, and that's it. I don't know when the next one's going to come along.
And shout out to the great Mark Strong, because that's who plays Sinestro in the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. He's been in, you know, The Kingsmen. He was also in Shazam as the villain. So great actor. Think he did a great job. Would love to see him reprise the role, but not sure if that's going to happen. I think they actually mentioned someone else playing him in the show, but I don't know. All right, next on the list, we've got Green Lantern 19. This is back from 91, and not a huge amount going on here. I think it's kind of cool because it's got Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, there in the background with, the more modern Green Lanterns at the bottom. You got Hal, John, Guy, and only thing really about this one, found it in a dollar bin at a local store. It's the first appearance of the Green Lantern, Yalin Gur. So
you never know. There's so many lanterns out there. They could hit on any of them. And
Yep.
all these dollar books, all of a sudden they're $25, $50 books overnight. All you need is the right bit of news, right?
That's right.
All right. My turn?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let me see. You mentioned two biggies. These are kind of no-brainers. If you see these are obviously worth a grab. It's John Stewart, first appearance of John Stewart, first appearance of Guy Gardner. So Green Lantern 59, Green Lantern 87. Let me get them on camera there for your YouTube. So basically, I mean, these are no-brainer books.
Shift a little to your left. There you go.
All right. So basically, I mean, these are no-brainer.
We're doing this live, folks, so bear with us.
We'll learn as we go. So I would grab these if you can. I mean, they're fairly easy to find. I mean, great. I think they're both Neil Adams covers. Nope. Gil Kane for this one, and this is Neil Adams. So, I mean, but these are classic covers. Great for your collection. Like I said, you can't really get the Hal Jordan book at this point, or, I mean, Alan Scott, I know he mentioned. Those are kind of just out of most collectors' reach, but you can grab these two, and, I mean, they're going to show up at some point. I mean, definitely John Stewart. They're already rumoring him for a movie, everything like that. Guy Gardner, he's one of my favorites. We'll see what happens. All right.
Very nice. All right, next we got Green Lantern 54. This is back in 94. Now, this will tie into another issue that we'll get to a little bit later in the episode, but this is really only on Key Collector because of the controversial death of Rayner's girlfriend, Alex DeWitt. Now, I know, Chris, I think you also just picked this up about a few weeks ago, right? I think.
Yeah, it's kind of an iconic book for what it is. Sometimes for the wrong reasons, but.
So Major Force dismembers Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, shoves her into a fridge, and that's where he discovers her. So it's a bit gruesome, bit controversial, and that's what gives this its staying power. So it's on Key Collector.
It's kind of influenced a lot of writing as you move forward too, because it's really, they don't just make characters anymore just to kill them off in kind of a few issues, especially female characters. They're trying to make better characters, even though every week we do see, like, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 brand new characters, but they are trying to make them a little more solid, substantial, not just use them as a plot line, and it's basically just hopefully just has influenced a little bit better writing as it goes on.
Yeah, because I mean, she wasn't around for very long, right? She was like 6 issues at most, something like that.
He came in, so Kyle came in 48 it was?
Yeah.
Right? So, and that was, what issue was that again? That's 53?
54.
54. So that's about it. Maybe I think she came back as a Black Lantern. That's not good for anybody. And I mean, all these books, like a lot of them, like we said, we can get them in dollar bins, things like that. I mean, I happen to have a slab here of so this is the first appearance of Kilowog, decent cover, and this is the first issue, I believe, where it changes from Green Lantern to Green Lantern Corps, and I'm not sure if there's other first appearances in here, but he's Kilowog's a fan favorite. He's the drill sergeant. So, I mean, I would definitely look for this book. Sometimes you can find this in dollar bins or the $5 box and stuff like that. It's a solid book to have for any Green Lantern collection. There's no way. He was in the movie too, obviously. CGI was pretty good, I thought. I think he was a decent character, but
I mean, he's kind of drawn kind of goofy on the cover there. I mean, I kind of think the CGI looks pretty good compared to that.
I mean, Joe Staton did what he does, and I don't know. It's
No disrespect, no disrespect.
he's lasted the test of time, and he's probably after the Earth Green Lanterns, like he's the guy. He's the next big lantern in my mind, and I think it's always worth. Whenever I see this book, I try to grab. I think I have like 3 or 4 copies of this. So whenever I see it, if it's in decent shape, I just grab it because it's just another character that's been around. So this is from '86. So just been around a while. He's not going away. He's been in cartoons, everything. It's just a book to grab.
Yep. Well, sticking with that same time period, we've got a less memorable book, but still a key issue. From February of '84, we've got Green Lantern 173, and this is unlike Kilowog. This is the first appearance of the lesser known villain known as the Javelin. So yeah, don't think it really went anywhere, but again, this was a key issue, so found it in a dollar box.
Hey, look, he's got a chance. I mean, he might get more screen time than Slipknot at the end of the day. So anything's possible. And I got a couple dollar bin grabs here. So I think these are worth getting on spec because you can really find these in dollar bins everywhere in decent shape. So Green Lantern Corps Recharge #1. This is the first appearance of Soranik Natu. Apologies for butchering names fictional and real right now. And basically that's Sinestro's daughter. So she is a Green Lantern, becomes a Yellow Lantern. I think at this point she might be a Green Lantern again. I'm a little behind in my reading. But you can find these all day long in the dollar boxes. And I think this is definitely worth getting. She's a physician, strong female character, just really got a lot going for it. And she's definitely I believe she was leading the Sinestro Corps for a while and everything like that. And I mean, it's a solid grab for $1. And
keep it in the family.
Absolutely. And I got one more. This is so this is Green Lantern #10. This is from 2006. So this is the first appearance of Arkillo, who is the drill sergeant for the Sinestro Corps. So he's basically the Kilowog equivalent of the Sinestro Corps. And this is a tough book to get. You can find this in dollar bins, but this black cover it's just spine tick city. So I mean, if you can get this in a high grade, I would grab this too. He's another solid character. He's been in the stories pretty much solidly since 2006, and I mean, just as relevant, as probably Kilowog. So, I mean, and these are out there.
All right, and I'm gonna take a little step back in time here and do 2 kind of side by side. We've got issue number Green Lantern 136, Green Lantern 148. So again, these were like, dollar bin boxes, first appearances. Again, total speculation. Maybe we'll strike it rich, maybe not if they use these characters. 136 is kind of a cool cover. And this is the first appearance of Citadel. And then issue 148, we've got like half the plain clothes on, half the Green Lantern costume on top, and this is, well, still has the price tag on it there, so got this for $3 actually, not $1. But it's the first appearance of Chip, CH''P, who is rescued from execution by the Guardians of the Universe.
Who doesn't like a space squirrel? I think he might have shown up in the movie. I can't remember if he's in the background, but that's it. I mean, he's getting in, he's getting in somewhere.
I got to go back and watch it.
Like plush animals. I'm sure there's a Funko Pop or two.
Funko Pop.
I need
Yep.
something. That's it.
Gotta have
Save
your
the world.
Funko Pops. If Funko's listening out there, I celebrate the whole collection.
Do the right thing, Funko.
All right, Chris, I'm down to my last book. How many do you have left to go through?
That was it. I think I
All right.
You want me to dig up some more?
No. We'll save some for the next time. We'll do a Green Lantern part 2. So I guess to end on, we've got Green Lantern number 48 from '94. And this just sort of ties into what we were talking about earlier. This is the first appearance of Kyle Rayner, who then becomes a Green Lantern, who has the girlfriend who gets brutally murdered. So this is his first appearance. I think he's going to be in the Green Lantern show. I'm not sure about that, but I would suspect that at some point he's going to work himself into some future TV show or movie. And yeah, so that's really the only reason that it's on Key Collector. I was able to pick this up for $7. I think it goes for more like 15 or so in really good condition on eBay. And that's that about wraps it up for this Green Lantern exclusive episode. Any final thoughts from you, Chris, on anything in the Green Lantern universe?
I mean, I think this video, we really just scratched the surface. Most of what we talked about was just really the Green Lantern core, a little bit of the Yellow Lantern core. We didn't touch on at all the rest of the spectrum. And there's tons of books out there. I think everyone's fair game. They can go any which way with this. And if they can finally pull off some decent live action, I really don't know what HBO Max has in store, because we really haven't seen, I think, anything that they've just produced yet. I think there's
the Justice League Snyder Cut is going to be really their that's going to be their first test, whether they have staying power to rival like Disney Plus and Marvel.
Right, that's another thing. We're going to see a little more. There was some spec with Ryan Reynolds, right, filming another scene for that, but I think it fell through. But we're going to see that CGI Lantern a little bit more. Anything's fair game. If the Superman's black suit, because of is this a reboot? What do you even call this? But the rewrite of the original right. But the black suit issue, I think that was dollar box fodder to, you probably went $10-15, I think.
Yep.
So anything's possible these days. The market's going crazy. We're gonna see what happens, and just can't wait for shows to start up again and start doing what we do, and just have more boxes to go through.
Well, there you have it, folks. I think this format really works. We tried something different this time. I'm going to try to do some more future episodes like this, split screen, just kind of organic conversations and going over some books this way. I know we're clocking in close to a half hour here, so for all you viewers out there that stuck with it and watched the whole thing, our hats are off to you. Hopefully you learned something insightful and find this entertaining to keep watching us. Remember to like and comment down below, please. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what interests you, what excites you. Want to talk about that in a future episode. And last but not least, right now we are right around, I'd say, 15 subscribers or so. We're going to do something special for you guys. If you want to be entered into a raffle, when we hit 50 subscribers, we're going to raffle off at least one, maybe two books that are on Key Collector as key issues. So more to come on that, but please subscribe. Make sure it's public so that we can tell who it is, and you can be entered into the raffle. So until next time, happy holidays and stay healthy, stay safe, stay nerdy.